The congressional map ordered by the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday drastically changed political dynamics for Southeast Alabama. It shifts Houston, Henry, Dale, Coffee, Geneva, and Covington counties from District 2. Those counties represented by Representative Barry Moore of Enterprise will move to District 1, which extends westward to the Mississippi. News 4's Ken Curtis with us now to talk about how this most affects those of us in the far reaches of Southeast Alabama. Ken, thanks for joining us this evening.
Yeah, what it does, it puts Barry Moore, the congressman from Enterprise, it puts him into peril because Moore is no longer in District 2, where he would almost have certainly won re-election. He's now in District 1, which is Jerry Carl's congressional district, significant because Carl is strong in the more heavily populated areas of Mobile and Baldwin counties.
So, Ken, will Barry Moore seek re-election and oppose Carl?
I'm sorry, I think he's mulling over it now. You know, we just found out these lines for sure yesterday, so I'm sure he's taking a look at and digesting all of this. But Carl would be tough to beat. It's been years since someone from our area represented our congressional district other than Moore. Let's see, you had before him Martha Roby and Bobby Bright from Montgomery. In fact, Terry Everett, the only congressman from Southeast Alabama to go to Washington who is from the Wiregrass area in decades. So we had Barry Moore, but certainly that is in question today with the redrawing of these congressional districts that pretty much create two black-controlled districts in the state.
Very interesting stuff. Ken Curtis, thank you for joining us this evening.